In today's topic, we will dive straight into the main issue because we have a lot to cover in a very short time. I will be dealing with one of the most dangerous advice that religious people, men of clergy, friends, brothers, sisters give to couples in marriage, especially when there is a dispute that needed to be settled, or sometimes when someone is looking for somebody to date or to marry. This advice is so dangerous that it constitutes one of the major distractions and dissolution of marriage, or keeping marriage couples in an unhappy situation. But on daily basis, men of clergy, friends, even parents who do not really understand the main intricacies of their advice continuously, even with good intent, to tell couples to engage in this singular advice. And I'm talking about the word compromise. Many times you have been told, oh, marriage is about compromise. You must learn to compromise with one another. But I tell you that is one of the most challenging and most, I don't know, I'm looking for an adjective to qualify. It's one of the most dangerous, damning, and destructive advice that can ever be given to a couple or even somebody who is looking for someone to marry or to court or get into dating relationship. Many times you've been told, well, it is nice, you cannot get involved in marriage relationship without learning how to compromise. Like I said earlier, it is very dangerous and you must discard that arrangement, because every time that you have been told to compromise, compromise to many people means coming to an agreement. That's not what it really means. You must concede something. It's about conceding something in order to come to a middle ground, supposed middle ground. And at the end of the day, the couple are never satisfied with the eventual outcome. The agreement they make, none of them is happy with it, but they accept it supposedly for the sake of peace. But that's not what marriage relationship should be about. It's not about compromising, conceding, leaving that which is very vital in order to come to unacceptable but quote unquote acceptable decision, while inside you are still unhappy. And every time there is a compromise in one situation or the other, all it does is that it takes that problem, sweeps it underneath the carpet or the rug, but it's still alive. It will always come up in the future and continue to haunt the marriage relationship. It's like a present living ghost, if there's something like that, that is kept there. There's an elephant in the room constantly watching over your shoulders, because every time you compromise, there is a state of unhappiness. Now, you also know that in a different form, when you hear the word compromise, like people who are into technology or into cybersecurity, they said, oh, something has been compromised. It means that it's been exposed to an external danger. It means that there is something that has been done to it that have lowered the standard of performance or giving you general exposure. In marriage relationship, when you compromise, you lower your standard. When you compromise, you expose that relationship to danger. Now, having said this, I want you to take that word, take that advice, package it, and throw it into the trash. It does not belong anywhere in the marriage. Now, what do you replace it with? I'll tell you. The greatest advice that you will get in replacing this, the good advice, is when you throw away compromise, bring in the great, wonderful word of understanding. Understanding is the key to unlocking that unresolved issues and those bitterness, those things that have caused conflict. But when you come to a place of understanding, now what it means is that there are two simple factors involved when it comes to understanding. Number one, you must be willing to listen and listen and listen. You must be willing to listen with a view to understanding what your spouse is explaining, or also understanding with an intent to know their position and why they have taken the decision or why they are making the suggestions that they are doing. If you cannot understand, if you cannot listen to understand why and the reasons why they have taken the decision and the intent, then you cannot have effective conversation or communication. Now, the next thing I talked about being able to to listen. The next thing is that you must be able to explain yourself without the intent to attack, without the intent to prove that you are right, without the intent to show that you are in charge. Because sometimes when people compromise, when people settle, it's like settling. When they settle to a point where they really wouldn't want to be, they are doing that for the simple reason that there could be an indirect undue influence. There could be an indirect concession just in order to please people, not because that's what they want to do. But when you come to understanding, you will realize that when you know why they are saying what they are saying, and you listen with that understanding, that will give you you can make an informed decision as to either go with their own understanding, or when they listen to you, they are going to listen to you with the same way, not to attack, not to defend, not to prove right, but to listen, to know why, where you're coming from, and the circumstances surrounding the decision that you have made. When we come to that place where we have open minds in communication, open mind in conversation, the disputes are easily resolved. And when the disputes are resolved, you discover that resolution of dispute, it's not about that time. That dispute did not start then. Something else has been brewing. There have been something at the background, something that have taken place previously that have compounded. All it needed was a trigger. So sometimes what causes the argument and the dispute isn't what just started then. It has been happening and has been swept under the carpet. So I want you to know that when you come to the point of understanding what needed to be done and how it should be done, it gives you the opportunity, like I said earlier, to make an informed decision. Informed decision based on your values, informed decision based on your principles, informed decision based on now the understanding of the intent and the purpose for which the other person is coming from. And it is vice versa. That gives each person, when you decide to say, okay, I'm going to go with this one, you are going with it having seen something that is greater, superior, and for benefit of the couple, and not just because you want to have your way. So to unmarried people also, don't make that mistake, because when you compromise your principles, when you compromise your value, just because you are saying this is the kind of person that has been set forth in the needs and the purpose of marriage, and this person does not come in any way to that, but rather you want to settle either because you think you're getting older, or you think that you may not have somebody who might be as good as that person in the future, and because of that you settle. Once you compromise, you can have an immediate relief, but I tell you, the problem remains. And that at the end of the day, you're going to end up being more unhappy after your settlement than the way you were before you got into that situation at all. So I want to let you know that we are still in override, and my name still remains Stephen Archie. You know what to do. If you have not subscribed, it is time for you to make sure you subscribe, hit the notification button, like and share, so you don't miss any other edition of Override. You see, we're bringing to you the things from the areas and perspective that many people will not bring to you, because we know that marriage is easy and there's beauty in a marriage relationship that is growing, that is productive, and that is fruitful. I will see you in our next video as I look forward to you know what to do. Thank you so very much, and you have a good and godly day. Bye bye.